Hello guys, it is Matt from Vector Gaming. Today bringing you a slightly different video than what you'd probably usually expect. So today I thought I'd make this video to talk about a game. Man, this game. Ori and the Blind Forest. You might have heard of it before. You might have seen some of the reviews on Steam. It's got an overwhelmingly positive reception on Steam. Really high Metacritic scores. From both the critics and the users, mind you, for both platforms it's on, which it's available on the Xbox One and the PC, and it's also been highly praised by basically gaming journalists all over the shop. And I thought I'd make this video just to tell you why I think this is a must-buy, because I have bought the game and I've played about 5 hours of it so far. And I thought I'd just tell you why I think it's so amazing, just like everyone else. Now you might be thinking, Matt, you've only played 5 hours. Why should I believe what you're saying? Why are you doing this video? You haven't even completed the game yet. Now, there's two reasons. And one of the reasons is that I feel like I've already got my money's worth. I've only played 5 hours, admittedly, yes. But I feel like I've already got my money's worth. It's $14.99 in pounds, and I believe in dollars that's like $25, $30, something like that. Don't quote me on that anyway. But I just thought, I've enjoyed it so much already that I just need to tell people who don't know about this game, just to at least have a look, have a look at least and consider it. Have a look into it, try it out, maybe buy it, see if you like it. You might love it like me, who knows? So in this video, I'm gonna avoid talking about the story aspects a great deal because I don't want to spoil anything for you guys, because I feel like that's one of the things you have to be very careful about in games that have a very strong story, and I feel like this game does, and I don't want to spoil that for you guys. I want you to experience it firsthand pretty much, but I will give you a bit of a brief summary. So there's two characters. There's two main characters. You only play as one character that I know of, and that's Ori, and you're going around the forest basically saving these tree spirits, essentially bringing light back into the forest and getting rid of the darkness and the evil. And as you go through each spirit tree, you're unlocking abilities, you're basically learning new tricks, and you can upgrade those abilities. And in its essential core being, it is a 2D platformer. It's an open world platformer. There's no kind of area thing where it's like, loading the next level. It's not like a Super Mario deal. It's all very open. You can jump from one section to another, but it's so vast, it feels like if GTA was a platformer, maybe that's what this would be like. I don't know. Not exactly. But anyway, so some of the features. There are these things called energy cells for a start. So energy cells are for soul links. And you'll say, what are soul links, Matt? Soul links are basically the way that you save your game. So, traditional games, you'll pause the game, you'll press save, or you'll get to the end of a level, you'll save. In Ori and the Blind Forest, you put down a soul link, you've saved your game. You go back to that soul link, you've saved your game. And you can put these down anywhere as long as you're in a safe zone, where there's no enemies trying to basically kill you. And before you think, well, that's overpowered, you can just put them anywhere. Well, you have to have these energy cells, and if you run out of them, it's just you can't put the other one down. You need to collect more energy cells, and there might not be any in sight. So you've got to be very careful on how you use those soul links. So then there's also abilities in this game that you can upgrade, and there's a skill tree. I'll talk a little bit about that a bit later on. There's also life cells. So life cells are pretty much the health. You can upgrade your health so you've got more, so that you're a bit stronger as part of the skill tree. And there's these spirit lights, which are these golden glowing things that you can collect, and they're pretty much experience points. They're the things that are going to allow you to get your upgrades. Without collecting these, you're not going to be able to get ability points that you can spend to upgrade all your stuff. So those are pretty much all of the different sort of terms and things that are around the world in this platforming game. But I want to first talk about the artwork, because my God, the artwork. Okay. I saw this game back at E3 last year, and I believe it was the first time they shown it was the announcement trailer, and my God, I was blown away by this game. I thought it was amazing, and I hadn't even seen much of it, and I think at the time I was thinking, I don't want to get my hopes up, but I really want this to be good, and it looks so beautiful. And now that we have it and it's playable and you can buy it, it is just as beautiful. The artwork is absolutely stunning. I mean, everything top to bottom, from the trees to the enemies to the water, because there's some underwater sections as well. Everything just looks just so sexy. If I could put it in one word, it would be sexy, guys. That is what it would be. There's also, it feels slightly three-dimensional, like it's not 3D, but there's basically the foreground is silhouetted. So what I mean by that, the best way to explain that is, if at the beginning of the game, you'll be walking through the forest, you won't really have any abilities yet, and you'll see like creatures maybe move through the front or the foreground. And it kind of gives that, because you've got the background, you've got the foreground and the, whatever the bit in between's called. I don't know, I'm not very good with whatever that's called and remembering it. But because you've got this 3-tier system of foreground, where you are in the background, it feels very three-dimensional because you've got 3 layers, and it feels a lot more immersive, and it improves the atmosphere. It's a very subtle thing, but it goes a long way. Lighting, another thing to do with the art style, really. The lighting changes based on what area you're in, and, you know, sometimes it just really sets the mood. You could be in one area of the forest, it'll be like a red glow, or it might be nice and sunny, so there'll be bright white light or yellow light shining through the trees, and it just really helps set that atmosphere. And another thing in terms of the atmosphere, that you can't talk about Ori and the Blind Forest without mentioning the music, the soundtrack. I mean, this soundtrack is so amazing, and it just fits together with everything that's going on. It fits in with what's the storytelling aspect. It fits in with the gameplay, with what's going on around you. It works hand in hand with everything perfectly. And the music's composed by, I believe his name is Gareth Coker. I hope I said that name. I hope I pronounced his name correctly. But everyone that's involved in the music side, they've just done an absolutely phenomenal job. I mean, it's beautiful. I'm actually listening to the official soundtrack as I do this video for you guys right now. And the reason for that is I just want to get really immersed and remember all the stuff that I was playing through and doing, and just so that I can, you know, get into that mode of remembering all the fun I had so far, from what I have played, and just that whole feeling of the game. And it is that good that it's something that you could listen to in the background even when you're not playing the game. It's that enjoyable. So those are 2 things, artwork and music. Now, the final thing that I really want to discuss, which is probably the most important thing about a game. You could say, yeah, Matt, a game's got a great story. Cool. It's got great music. It's got good artwork, but the gameplay sucks. But in this case, you know, the gameplay is just as good as everything else. Here's a few reasons why, okay? You've got these different abilities that you unlock as you go through with these spirit trees. They give you an ability, and some of those are wall jump, double jump, bash attack, there's a stomp attack, there's loads more that I haven't even unlocked yet. But it makes backtracking is fun in this game. Guys, backtracking is fun in this. You know, there's a lot of games where you go, oh, do I really have to go back and do that again? And it's so unnecessary and pointless, you know. I mean, I love the Borderlands franchise, but there's so much pointless backtracking in that game that has no real purpose or doesn't make you want to backtrack. But in this game, it does. And how does it do that, you might ask? Well, when you go to a spirit tree, you get this ability. Like I said, it's open world, essentially. It feels open world anyway. And you'll think, oh, there's a few areas, like when I was playing through it, oh, there's a few areas that I haven't been to yet or undiscovered, and they're sort of darkened out, so I can't really see much of them. And I'll think, oh, maybe I can get some more experience from there, you know, get some more stuff for my ability points. Maybe there's some like map pieces to unlock more of the map, because there's map fragments as well, pretty much. And you put them into this, where there's a place you can put them, like a stone, and it unlocks more of the map. So it begs for exploration, this game. You know, there's a feeling of going, oh, I want to check out what's going on over there. I want to see what's going on over there. Oh, maybe. And you'll think, I couldn't get back to that bit before because I didn't have the ability, so it was kind of tucked away. It was impossible for me to get to. And so then you get this ability, like something, for example, like the stomp, where you can smash down the ground. If there's weak structures and you smack down on the ground, it will break, and you'll think, I know where I could use that. I could go back to that bit in the forest that I really wanted to get to, and it looked like there was something cool down there, and I can use it, and I can finally access. So you'll backtrack, and you're having fun doing it, really, because you're thinking, yeah, I'm actually liking this, because I'm really excited to going back to where I was before and trying out to access some of those bits that I hadn't been to before. And as along the way, you're getting more experience because the enemies have respawned, you're getting them, so you're getting more ability points, basically, or building up to more ability points. Some other things, let's talk about these abilities. So, the ones I've unlocked so far, the wall jump, double jump, bash, and the stomp. Wall jump is your very typical kind of jump from, you jump on a wall, you bounce off it, and you can keep doing that. You can even pretty much climb up a wall. You just keep tapping A against the wall and it will hop up. And there's double jump, which is essentially, you jump, while you're in midair, you press A again, if it's on a controller, and you'll jump again. I mean, I was playing on a controller, but I was playing on PC, and that's just because I prefer my platformers using a controller. So, yeah. The other things you've got, there is Bash, which is pretty much the coolest one I've unlocked so far in terms of abilities. The way this works is you press Y on the controller when there's like an enemy projectile, and you can aim that projectile anywhere, and it will also help you shoot up higher or lower, just depending on where you want to go. And another useful thing you can do with Bash is it does help you get to certain points. Like there's lights that you can also use to basically use the bash technique to fly up, but you can actually fire enemies' projectiles back at them when you have bash. So you point in the opposite direction the projectile's coming to when it's about to hit you or something. You hold down Y, you point it in their direction, and you can kill an enemy with their own projectile. So if a spider's shooting one of their purple orb thingies that they do, and you use bash and you'll shoot it back at them, then you're basically killing them with their own range move. So you've got like a long range attack in a way. It's just that it's coming from your enemies, so it's quite funny and it is quite useful. There's a really stressful part of the level where you're having to use that bash technique constantly, and it was probably the most stressed I've been in a game ever. I mean, because if you mess up, you have to go back to the beginning of that particular segment where this water's filling up, and you have to get out before it drowns you. And I did it, and it felt so good. I mean, that brings me to my next point, really, which is probably my final point, and that is that this game is challenging. You are going to die, okay? You're going to die a lot in this game. It's just going to happen. You've got to accept that. I mean, I've seen people that are better than me, and I've seen their playthroughs on YouTube, and they're dying a lot. And they look really good, and it is very difficult. But you know what? It's not like in my view, a Hotline Miami 2 difficult, where the game is so hard that it just really annoys you and you start hating the game. It's a challenging in a way of, come on, I can do this. And because you've got this soul link that you can save at any point as long as you've got an energy cell, you put down your soul link at a really challenging part. And this is probably the most underappreciated thing, I think, because in so many platformers, I played the Rayman platforms, like Rayman Legends, I think it was, or Rayman Origins. I played one of them, and as much as I like platformers, I hate the fact of having to go, even the Super Mario games, those platformers, having to go back to the beginning of a level and going, I have to do all that again, like all the easy bits, and I don't want to do that. And you might be towards the end of a level and you just go all the way back to the beginning. And I hate that in platformers. I love platformers, but I hate that particular aspect. So with the Soul Link, when you're doing that, it means you can portably save as you go along, and you can just do it just before, this is a really tricky bit, I'll put that Soul Link down. And, that's something that makes the challenging bit not so frustrating. But when you finally, like I've died over, I think in the first 4 hours of me playing, I died over 100 times. And, I was dying a lot. But when I actually completed a really difficult part of the forest or that area or particular stage, it was so satisfying. I feel like such a badass. I was like, I am so amazing right now. I'm so good. I feel so good that I've completed that. I feel like I could take on the world now. Of course, then you get to a more difficult bit and then you realise, oh no, actually, I'm struggling again. But, you know, it's challenging but not frustrating. And I think that's a really hard thing to hit in these types of games. But Ori and the Blind Forest does a really good job, in my opinion, I think. So, yeah, I mean, as I said, I'm not really going to talk about the story that much because I don't want to spoil anything for you guys. But the artwork, just in summary, the artwork, the music, and the gameplay, they just all work perfectly together. And it's a platform, if you like platformers, definitely check this game out. If you don't like platformers, but you're kind of interested in the story or the style of the game, still check it out. If you know, even if you're a hardcore gamer or a casual gamer, you know, I think it doesn't matter who you know what? I think it doesn't matter who you are, what type of gamer you are, what kind of games you like. This is one of those games that is worth a look for anybody. And it's just, you know, some people find the story really emotional. I have to say I haven't actually cried yet myself, but I know people that have. But it's such a good game. And that's why I felt the need to basically make this video to tell you guys that and just give some reasons why, if you were confused and, you know, didn't understand why it was getting these good reviews and ratings and high praise. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed some of the gameplay that I have shown you, as well as me talking about some of the game in a bit more detail. But that is all for this video, and until the next video, I will see you guys later. Maybe there's goodbye for now.